Good day, everyone. Today we will answer this example. The stability criteria apply to a particular phase. However, there is nothing to preclude their application to problems in phase equilibria, where the phase of interest, example, a liquid mixture is in equilibrium with another phase. Example, a vapor mixture. Consider a binary isothermal vapor-liquid equilibria at pressures low enough that the vapor phase may be considered an ideal gas mixture. What are the implications of liquid phase stability to the features of isothermal PXY diagrams, such as those in figure 12.8? And here I pasted figure 12.8. Figure 12.8 is the PXY diagram of different binary systems. And as you can see here, on the y-axis we have the P or pressure. On the x-axis we have the mole fraction of the liquid and vapor phases. Let's go back to the problem. For the given, we are given a binary isothermal VLE. And in fact, in this PXY diagram, this is just for one temperature. So this is isothermal. And the requirement is to derive the implications of liquid phase stability on these PXY diagrams. For the solution, we begin with the stability criteria that we learned during the lecture, or we learned in the lecture slides, and that is the fugacity of species I in the solution, or Fi hat, the derivative of that over the with respect to dxi or species I is greater than 0. That is the stability criteria. And this happens in constant temperature and pressure. And since given in the problem that we can assume that P is very low, so that we can assume that the vapor phase behaves like an ideal gas. So that is the assumption that we can make. But first, and then first we consider species 1. Let's consider species 1. If we derive the ln of the fugacity of species 1 in the solution, the derivative of x is 1 over x, right? So this is mainly that. And we divide everything by dx1. We transfer, so we divided that, and then we transfer the df1 hat to the other side of the equation. We get this new equation. And remember the stability criteria right here. This one but specified for species 1. This should be greater than 1. Okay, so this should be, sorry, this should be greater than 0. Okay, so that's the stability criteria that we learned. So this term should be greater than 0. And therefore, since it's equal to the right-hand side of the equation, then the right-hand side of the equation should also be greater than 0. Okay? Now, but F1 hat, okay, F1 hat cannot be negative. So this term cannot be negative, and therefore this leaves us uh, the ln of the derivative of ln of F1 hat over dx1 should be greater than 0. So since this cannot be negative, this should also be greater than 0 in its own. Okay, so this in its own should be greater than 0. Next, let's consider species 2. If we make the same, um, we can make the same uh, equation for species 2. Just replace species 2 for species 1 in this equation. And then after that, do the same. But since dx2 is the negative dx1, we can replace dx2 in the equation with negative dx1, and that reverses the sign. Okay? So we have this equation. So in terms of species 2, just replace everything with species 2, but we then replace dx2 with negative dx1, and that reversed the inequality here. But then we multiply both sides by -1 by multiplying. That reverses the inequality sign again. So we have this new inequality. And let us next combine this new equality with this previous one. So this is for species 1 and this is for species 2. So notice that again, for species 2, we replace the derivative here, dx2 with negative dx1, and that reverse the signs, okay? Reverse the inequalities. So if we combine these two inequalities for species 1 and 2, we have this new equation, new inequality. So the combination of the two terms would still be greater than 0, because when you add the two terms that are greater than 0, then that should also still be greater than 0, and we name that equation A. Now, remember that for an ideal gas, we can express the fugacity in the vapor phase as the mole fraction in the vapor phase times the pressure. Okay. And then we have equilibrium criteria that the fugacity of the species in the solution in the liquid phase should equal its fugacity in the solution in the vapor phase. So that's the equilibrium criteria for VLE, or vapor liquid equilibria. And therefore, starting with this equation A, we can replace the fugacity with the uh, product of the mole fraction and pressure. Okay, so we replace it for species 1 and then species 2. Species 1, species 2. Since we can remove P because uh, of this property of natural log, so P is removed. And then again, go the property of natural log, we can express, okay, we can express ln these terms as 1 over y1 dy1 over dx1, and also this one, so minus 1 over y2 times dy2 over dx1. Okay, and then we replace dy2 right here, derivative of mole fraction of species 2, with negative dy1, and that reverses the sign of the second term. So this whole term becomes positive, and our equation becomes this one. Okay? And we now group the derivative terms. We group them. We get a simplified expression. And this, since we started with this inequality, it became this one. This should still be greater than 0. Okay, so this should still be greater than 0. And because this product, the mole fraction is always positive, we can disregard it. That means uh, this term dy1 over dx1 should be greater than 0. And this is an essential feature of vapor-liquid equilibrium. Let's name that equation B. Again, based on our derivation, we have concluded that dy1 over dx1, so that's the derivative of the mole fraction of species 1 over dx, derivative of the mole fraction of species 1, but this the numerator is in the vapor phase, denominator is liquid phase. Those ratio, on those ratio, should be greater than 0. Or in other words, the change in the mole fraction of species 1 in the vapor phase divided by the change in the mole fraction of species 1 in the liquid phase should be greater than 0. And that is an essential feature of VLE. Now, going back to equation A, so even if we assume pressure is constant, um, it says here that equation A is still approximately valid because liquid are insensitive to pressure. Okay. So since this is still valid because uh, we started with okay. So anyway, so since we uh, so anyway, the inequality is still valid. Okay. Next. Remember Gibbs-Duhem equation. Okay. And then at constant temperature and pressure, the first two terms become zero. And then we have the Gibbs-Duhem equation, and M can be any property. So M right here can be any property. And let's say we replace M by the chemical potential. And then since the chemical potential is equal to RT, the natural log of the fugacity in solution for the liquid phase, we can replace that into our equation, and therefore we have this expression, and further dividing the equation by dx1, we have a form of Gibbs-Duhem equation right here. So this is in terms of the composition in the liquid phase and also the fugacities in the liquid phase. But since we have this equilibrium criterion that the fugacity in the liquid phase is equal to the fugacity in the vapor phase in the solution, and therefore this is still applicable for the vapor phase. So imagine this is now in vapor phase, and um, we can replace the fugacity by the yi, or the mole fraction in the vapor phase times p. So remember that if I hat in the liquid, Fi hat in the vapor. Okay, so that's the reason why we can replace with y sub I p. So now that we replace that, so from here we replace that the fugacity with y1p, and here y2p. Okay, and that's equal to 0. We can rearrange the equation so to isolate 1 over p and dp over dx1 on one side. So basically this one is just equal to that one. We just rearrange by isolating these uh, parameters on one side of the equation. And what do you observe? Okay, since uh, dy1 over dx1, based on our previous derivation, we said that this term is greater than 0. Okay, what does it make? What does it imply for equation C? Okay, so this term dy1 over dx1 should be greater than 0. It therefore asserts that the sign, okay, the sign, since is always positive, the sign of dp over dx1 should be the same as the sign of y1 minus x sub 1. So y1 times y sub 2 in the denominator is always positive, okay, because these are both positive values. But because it is required that this term is greater than 0, then that means if dp over dx1 is negative, then y1 minus x1 should also be negative, so that it would maintain dy1 over dx1 to be positive. And if this is positive, this should also be positive, so that the criterion dy1 over dx1 remains as positive or greater than 0. So this dp over dx1 and y1 minus x sub 1 should have the same sign. And further, if we divide dp over dy1 with dx1, so we divide the numerator and denominator by dx1, it and we know that the denominator dy1 and dx1 is greater than 0 because of equation B. So that means dp over dy1 should have the same sign as dp over dx1. If this is positive, then this should also be positive. If this is negative, and this should also be negative, to maintain the denominator dy1 over dx1 as greater than 0 or positive. Okay. And therefore, in summary, to conclude the derivation, these are the stability requirements for a binary vapor-liquid equilibrium at constant temperature. So this is the first one, equation B we derived earlier. Dy1 over dx1 should be greater than 0. And the the terms dp over dx1, dp over dy1, and 1y1 minus x sub 1 should have the same signs to make this one true. Should have the same signs. As a special case at the azeotrope, okay, at the azeotrope, dp over dx1 is 0, okay? And also dp over dy1 is 0. See right here, so dp over dx1 is equal to 0. They're both 0, so it still holds true. Well, it's a special case. Okay, so here at the azeotrope, the slope of p over x and slope of p over y is 0, so that's still true. And even if this is derived for low pressure, these results still have a general validity. Now, going back to the figure, PXY figure, let's see if these are true. Basically, we can see dp over dx and dp over dy in this figure because p is on our y-axis, x and y are on the x-axis. And as you may notice, if the slope of the vapor curve, so this the vapor is on the is the curve on top. So this is the vapor. Uh, I mean the liquid. Okay, the liquid curve is the curve on top. So this is a PXY diagram. The liquid is on top. The vapor is at the bottom. Let me zoom. If the slope of the liquid curve is negative, then the slope of the vapor curve should also be negative. But if the slope of the liquid is positive, then it follows that they have the same sign of their slopes, which is dp over dx and dp over dy. And that supports our derivation. Okay, so our observation supports our derivation. The same thing here and even here. So both have positive slope. Here, before the azeotrope, they have a positive slope, and then after the azeotrope, they both have the negative slope, still supporting our derived results. Okay, that ends the solution for this example.